Hello viewers and welcome to Novus Talks with me, your host Novus Corvus. And the day has finally come. We are getting a Nintendo Direct tonight even. And it's time to do some last minute predictions. I actually thought this Direct would be next week, but lo and behold, they surprised me. They're dropping it today. This is going to be an interesting Direct because supposedly, if the rumors are true, we're not going to have much from Nintendo later this year. It's going to be a barren year. Or if there is stuff, it's going to be on the more smaller side. But going into this Direct, there's quite a lot that we know of that we can say with certainty will show up. But at the same time, there's a lot that seems mysterious. And we're going to get into that right off the bat, just because it's the oddball in all of this. Metroid Prime 4. Let's get this one out of the way, because this is really the tricky one to define. I have it down that there's a 50% chance of this showing up. I don't believe it's going to be here. As I said in my previous Metroid Prime video, when they do eventually show us this game, it's going to be a full-blown trailer. They do not want to tease us with this game. They want the wait to be worth it, so they're not going to give us a 30-second tease or anything. When we see the game, it's going to be because the game's coming out in 6 months. So for that reason, I don't think Metroid Prime 4 is coming out in 6 months. But then again, what's the one last thing announcement going to be? Because Zelda, we know, is going to be there. That's not going to be the one last thing. The only thing that could possibly take that up is a 3D Mario or Metroid, because what else can they use? Pokemon would be saved for the Pokemon Presents, unless they have a new Animal Crossing or something, or Mario Kart, which they're not. Then I really think it's either going to be Metroid or Mario. I'm leaning toward Mario, but at the same time, if next gen is coming next year, truly, then they're not going to have Mario here, not without announcing the next gen console. So maybe it is Metroid Prime 4. I think this is the highest likelihood Metroid Prime 4 has ever had of showing up in a Direct. I feel like I say that a lot, but genuinely this time, I feel like it's the highest chance. But also, Metroid Prime HD is the other factor. I know I said I don't believe it anymore, but I have that as 50% as well, because it could come out. It just makes too much sense, as we keep saying, right? Metroid Prime 4 will absolutely 100% show up if Metroid Prime HD is there. If HD isn't there, then I think Prime 4 could only show up as the one last thing game. It's not going to open the show, as some think. In fact, I think Zelda will open the show. But will it close out the show? Possibly. If they show Prime HD, maybe they don't talk about Prime 4. Maybe they just say it's coming along well and we'll tell you about it later on. Possibly. But either way, for a Metroid announcement, 50%. It could go either way. As always, it's hard to predict. Next up, I want to talk about Tears of the Kingdom. Obviously, 100% chance of showing up. The game comes out in May. It's not getting delayed. Nintendo's literally doing a countdown of it. So we can expect to see Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. But will it be a blowout trailer? Everyone thinks this is finally the time. I don't think so. We've been burned twice already. The last few times it's just been a 30-second teaser. I think they'll do that again. I think they'll give us like a minute of footage and then they'll say we're getting a Zelda Direct later on. I don't think this will be a blowout. Maybe they could do a 5-minute segment. It'll be awesome, but I don't think so. So a short teaser for Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, that makes the most sense to me. Advance Wars Reboot Camp, 100% chance. This is interesting. I was thinking it was cancelled, but apparently retailers are listing the game and it's starting to pop up in places. So the idea of an April release or summer release seems pretty likely. So if that's the case, then yeah, it's 100% going to be here unless it's not coming out. Jumping off of that into the more obscure Nintendo IPs, Pikmin 4, I have it down for a 60% chance. I say this because, on the one hand, yeah, it's coming out this year, and we don't know if we're going to get a June Direct, so this would be the only Direct between now and September where they could show it, presumably. But if that's the case, if it's going to be here, why didn't they show us footage back in the last September Direct? They were so silent on it, which implies it's a late 2023 release, so maybe it's not here. But then again, if they don't have much to talk about for the year, it probably would be here, so 60%, it's kind of hard to say. Kid Icarus, 50%. There's rumors of Bandai Namco doing a Kid Icarus remaster of Uprising, particularly, and like Sakurai's kind of teased something. 50-50, it could happen, it might not. Sakurai could just be having fun and people are looking too much into it. Plus, if it's true, I don't think it's ready that quickly. They were only hiring people like last year, so it might be too soon, but hey, it wouldn't be the first time this generation that Nintendo has announced a game that's years away from release. And speaking of series that had releases years ahead, Bayonetta. Even though Bayonetta 3 came out, we are getting another Bayonetta game. Bayonetta Origins, Cereza and the Lost Demon. It was announced at the Game Awards. I was shocked, completely blown away. I did not expect another Bayonetta game so soon. I am excited for it, even though I'm not a fan of the art style. I think it looks rather bad. And I don't like that they made Bayonetta a kid-friendly series all of a sudden. But I'll give it a chance. Obviously, I'll play it. Surely it can't be any worse than Bayonetta 3. That's 100% going to be here. Obviously, it comes out next month. They're going to give that a focus, a big trailer. And I don't know what else they could really explain about it. It looks pretty bare bones and simple enough. But hey, Bayonetta to close out what's potentially the final year of the Switch makes sense. And going back to the whole obscure Nintendo IP thing, because I wanted to segue to Bayonetta there, but I want to segue back to lesser IP for a minute, because there's a lot of discussion at the moment about F-Zero, because some people have got it in their minds that F-Zero is coming back, and there's rumors. I don't buy it for now. Okay, so I do think it'll come back someday, right? Advance Wars came back, Metroid came back, Pikmin came back, right? But F-Zero, I think it will come. I just don't think it's coming now or this generation. I mean, it's possible it comes to the Switch because the Switch has so many of Nintendo's classic IPs coming back, as they promised back in 2017. So it would make sense, and we know they were trying to make one on Wii U before they cancelled it. So, yeah, F-Zero is in their minds sometimes, so I guess it's not entirely impossible, but it's so unlikely. I have it for 5%. I don't think it's going to show up here. I think it'll get a game at some point. Just, I don't know if it's going to be now. I'm going to look rather foolish if this is the final announcement they close out with, but yeah, I don't think that's going to show up. But rounding out the obscure Nintendo IP here, my second favorite franchise, Golden Sun, because there's been a Golden Sun rumor going around. I've talked before, I believe Camelot is working on Golden Sun 4 at the moment, and that it's probably coming out in 2025, based on the fact that they finished Mario Golf in 2021. But I think it's too early to announce that. But this rumor isn't about Golden Sun 4. It's about a Golden Sun trilogy remaster. Supposedly all 3 games are coming to Switch and they're going to get remastered. I have it as a 20% chance. It seems extremely unlikely. Apart from that one rumor, nobody else is really talking about it. No one seems to believe it. The only reason I have it so high is because I believe Golden Sun 4 is coming, and it would kind of make sense to remaster those old games. If they came out this year, you could announce Golden Sun 4 in a September Direct, and it comes out 2024, 25, have it 2 years away from release. I could see that happening. But, yeah, 20% chance. I would love Golden Sun. As I said, it's my second favorite series. I've played all 3 of them. People always shit on the third one, but if they bring all 3 games to Switch, imagine remake, because I don't want a remake, I want a new game, but if they're remastering all 3 games before doing a 4th one, if the story and the cliffhanger stays intact and they're just updating the visuals and the gameplay, fantastic, that would be amazing. So yeah, Golden Sun, 20%, but I'm hoping for it. And jumping back to main Nintendo IP now, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass Wave 4, 100% chance. Obviously, that's going to be here. We're due it. 2D Mario, this is an interesting one, 70%. Yeah, there's the movie, which they're not going to talk about the movie here, by the way. 2D Mario, it seems very likely. We haven't had one since 2019. That was a port of a Wii U game which came out in 2014, which in turn was essentially just a reskin of a 2009 game, which was a reskin of a 2006 game. So technically speaking, we haven't had a new 2D Mario since 2006 or since the 90s, right? So we are well overdue either way, whatever way you divide it up. 2D Mario, I think it would come out later in the year. Will it happen though? it's tough to say. 70% chance seems very likely, but at the same time, maybe they don't do it. I don't know. 3D Mario, slightly lesser chance of 50%, just because it's hard to say. It could be one way. It would make sense to end it with Mario. But again, if the rumors are true, if this discussion of Nintendo's next console coming next year is true, why would they have 3D Mario coming out on Switch? What would they launch the next thing with? I do think maybe they would launch the next thing with Mario, because Zelda's going to be out of the picture. But again, it really depends. If this Direct gives us a lot to show us that the Switch is still going to be around for a couple of years, and maybe those concerns are meaningless. But if there's not a lot here, then yeah, I think we are on the cusp of next gen. So 3D Mario could go either way. Same with Metroid. It's going to be a tie between those. Mario Baseball is a rumor that's appeared. We've had golf and we've had tennis. It makes sense to do baseball. People seem to be ignoring Mario Basketball, since that only ever got one game. I would love a Mario Basketball, but this is Mario Baseball. 65%. The rumors kind of came out of nowhere, but it makes sense. They haven't done a baseball game in a while. If they want to keep the baseball or Nintendo Sports kind of trend going, it makes sense. A lot of people are not hyped for this one because it'll just turn out just as bad as Mario Strikers and golf and tennis. But if baseball does happen, I think it's pretty likely basketball would follow suit. And do I really want Mario Slam Basketball's legacy to be sullied by Nintendo's modern approach to sports games? Probably not. But I don't know, for baseball, it seems pretty likely. It makes sense. If it comes out in June, baseball season, 65%, yeah, there's a pretty likely chance. It's just not set in stone. And last but not least, to round these out, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 DLC. That's 100% coming. I presume we're not getting a Direct in June. If we're not, then now is the time to talk about it. So yeah, that's definitely coming. Same with Splatoon 3. And there's probably other ones I'm not missing. I haven't mentioned Pokemon because, Pokemon Presents always do their own thing. There's probably going to be a Pokemon spin-off. And maybe some ports and a lot of third-party RPGs again. But yeah, those are my predictions for this Nintendo Direct. This could potentially be the most important Direct of this generation. This could be like the last one or the second last Direct of this generation. So this Direct is really going to tell us a lot about the future of Nintendo, at least in the foreseeable future. So whatever happens here is going to give us a big hint at what's to come. Fingers crossed for Metroid Prime 4 or Golden Sun, but I wouldn't bet on it. But yeah, let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below, and I will see you later on for my Nintendo Direct reactions. Nova Scorpius out.